Well, everybody, welcome to the ENDCAST, episode 29. This time I did remember it.
Yeah.
And I got Orvin over here as the guest for today's episode.
I think I'm the only guest.
That is true. It's our only guest so far. But anyway, people, we got lots to talk about, and we got short amount of time before we got to hit the road. So I'd say let's dive right into it, shall we?
Yeah.
First of all, what happened this last week, Orvin, that I nerdgasm all over the place for?
Well, you had the Apple conference. Was that the official name for that?
Yeah, the Apple conference, keynote, September event, by innovation only.
Only for people that are cool, is what you're saying?
No, it's like, so people, listen up. We got tons to cover, and I think there was quite a bit of good stuff out there. First off, I like this article. Look at this.
I can't look at anything.
I forgot I was going to airplay it to the TV. My bad, peeps. Anyway, this is the normal format for this podcast is, as you know, if you don't, it's 15 minutes for each section, tech, video games, and other news and games we played. But we'll try to keep it to 10 minutes each and see how good we do. 3 sections, 10 minutes, blah, blah, blah. Get your algebra ready.
Your algebra.
And so, first of all, I like this article by The Verge, and we'll start off with this. Apple's iPhone 11 doesn't have 5G because 5G isn't ready for the iPhone. But from a year now, it will probably be ready. Then so put that in your mind, right? Just picture that. Does it sound right, or does it sound a little too full of yourself?
A little full of yourself.
Okay. Trying to get both sides here. Then on Twitter, there was a guy that replied to this article, and he said, well, if Apple's making phones last longer because people don't buy them as often, then you're screwed when 5G becomes the norm next year. Because every other iPhone is not future-proof for 5G. And his comment was going well up until he said, I think he mentioned Latin America and Africa, and I was like, Last time I checked, their 5G is not that. Yeah, that's a little debatable if next year it's going to be fully implemented.
I don't think so.
I think the US, yeah, I can see it, maybe. But even then, when 4G came out, it was it was spotty. Even if after its official release, it got overloaded. Even the 3G with the iPhone, it broke AT&T's network back in the old days. So I'm like, let's be a little safe when we're talking about.
They're a lot bigger now. Possibilities.
It could. I'm always open to possibility because now they have the money. But we've seen situations where even if you have all the money in the world, things still go south.
Oh yeah.
Apple Maps. But anyway, so what do you think, Oren? What caught your eye first, since you're not into the Apple Garden as much as I am?
So you're saying what caught my eye with the new iPhone? Or in the conference?
Let's keep it on iPhones. Yeah, only iPhones.
Okay,
so we break it down.
Obviously, the biggest thing that catches your eye is the 3 cameras. That's the biggest thing that stands out to you. I was actually surprised when they implemented that. Because I know everyone else was doing that. There was one that was... What phone was that?
You got Huawei,
starts with an N.
Mate.
I can't remember what it... But they had 5 cameras on the back or something like that.
Oh, there was one with 4 or 5, yeah.
Yeah, and then there's... so I was like, what's... either they're catching up to that or they're just waiting to... Because they wanted to do it better. That's pretty much, I think, what they ended up doing.
I agree. For me, honestly, the triple lens camera always caught my attention. I was like... Because... Most phone makers that have a triple lens, at least from me keeping up on the tech news, it was just always you can zoom better. And one's a wide angle. So those 2 features, which Apple mentioned there, but the whole simultaneous recording, being able to have 3 different apertures for recording at the same time, you just switch between them. That stuff, I never saw it from any of the other manufacturers or even heard about it.
I think it has to do with more of their... how far they've gone with their software compared to a lot of their competitors. Yeah. Because even though you could put a bunch of hardware crap into your stuff, the software, I think, is where a lot of people are lacking in.
Yeah.
And their processor, because the one on the iPhone is a lot.
That's true.
And it's even better now with the new phone coming out. They upped it.
And I thought it was a good flex from Apple. Like on the conference, they put the graph of like, this is the current Android phones. They didn't include the Note 10, but the Note 10 I think has the same processor as the S10. But anyway, they put it up there and they said, well, there's the iPhone 10s, and it's above all of them. Mm-hmm. Well, here's the 11. It's like even further.
Catching up to that one.
I know. And I was like, yes, Apple, you flex them. But I think, honestly, there's a lot of noise going around about like a lot of bashing that there was really no innovation, even though the thing was called by innovation only. Yeah. I mean, I can sense that. I can see it as to it kind of felt like lackluster. I mean, especially the Series 5 on the watch, but we'll get into that. But when it came to the phone, I think the chip is where the innovation is. That's what Apple was referring to. Being able to process those 3 cameras or even all of them at the same time, and then you choose which ones you're going to focus on to record and do it all almost instantaneously. And then just the chip inside. I mean, that thing is way ahead.
Well, don't forget about also the AI system that they're doing for the camera system.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, where they're implementing that to improve the experience and quality. And also, I think there's part where, like, if you had, like, a sweater, like, it would focus more on
that's
that
true. That thing was coming later in fall. Better.
Yeah. That was actually interesting. I was like, I don't think anyone's ever worked on this, so this is new.
That's true. That what they call it?
I don't
Deep
know.
Fusion? Fusion something before Fusion or something.
Fusion everything. I just put Fusion and then or put X in front of it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that thing, when they announced it, I've had lots of my friends that they're not like real tech into the tech stuff or even understand cameras in a sense. In a way, they're like, why did they show a guy with a sweater for so long with a good looking picture, man? That was lame. And I'm like, dude, you don't understand. That picture looked too good to be from a phone.
Yeah, when you say this is from a phone, you're like, oh, big deal. I have a camera on my phone too. And you're like, I don't think you understand. Like, here's a camera that costs this much, almost as much as the phone. And then here's the phone. You're like, they're pretty much the same.
Exactly. That was something. And all AI based. Because, I mean, that's really the phones. Like, phones, at least on our technology right now, we're not going to replicate a DSLR that is like 10 times the size and thickness of the phone. Those things could break a skull. And they're huge.
Yeah.
And so, like, no way. So you have to complement that with software.
Well, I think the next generation phone, the iPhone 12 is probably going to have 4 cameras, and then the fourth one has to do with like, micro, like you can get like zoom in real like far in and then get a nice picture. Which is something that I always wanted in a phone. Because I always, like, when you get pictures, like the wide shot of, like, a sunset or of the moon or whatever it may be, actually, moon shots are kind of harder. Like, because you don't really get
But I feel what you mean by the moon, trying to get in there.
But, like, it's like when you want to, like, zoom into something and get, like, a really crisp, nice shot with something that's small.
Yeah.
And then you can really capture that, or an insect on, like, a petal or something like that. You can't really do it with a phone.
True.
Because there's specialized cameras for that, and phones, it's too much money for it. And there is ones that have like an adapter to it. Yeah. But those are cheap and really, they're all right.
Yeah, that's true. They don't do the same thing. But I agree. It'd be nice. We'll see though. But
I call it.
You call the
iPhone
quadruple camera for the new phone? Okay. I think definitely next year. I mean, sticking to the ones right now. What do you think on the iPhone 11? That went the successor to the XR technically.
Well, since I am, which you should probably be thinking it this way too, but because I'm a poor individual. I'm probably not gonna get it, and I'm not like, this is all cool to me and all, but like, it's not really anything that I'm like super hyped about because I know I'm not gonna get it until maybe way later in the future. But if I had to pick between the 2 camera and the 3 camera, I think I might get the 3 though, if I ever do.
Okay, and so out of the phone lineup right now, is to share with you people. So we got the iPhone 8 starting at 400 something, if I remember right, 450 or so, or 500.
They like do like 449 or something like that.
Yeah, something around between 400 and 500 for the iPhone 8, and of course probably the 8 Plus it'll be above that, like $50, $100. And then you got the iPhone XR, which is going for 550 if I remember right. and then you got the iPhone 11 going for. Oh no, did they? No, they got rid of the XS
iPhone
Max.
11.
They got rid of the XS, by the way. If I remember right, yeah. And so you only have the XR, and then you got the 11. That's $700, which went down $50 from last year's XR, and then the upgrade is actually a $50 for doubling from 68 to 128.
You know, something I to point out though with those prices and everything, like how are they keeping it with? Because you know the whole tariff thing that's going on.
Yeah.
Like, how's that affecting?
I think
the phones and
I
everything.
think
Is it affecting him?
I think the iPhone isn't, because
I think with Trump he was going to implement that, but then he's like hold back off for the holidays.
Yeah. And so I think
implementing it back.
I think Apple, if they were to implement him, I think Apple will just take the bullet, bite it, when it comes to US. But I read a report yesterday that apparently Europe isn't, because of Brexit deal that's not working out. Apple's actually, because of their tax and the uncertain future of the economy of Europe, they're charging more than last year's versions.
So cheaper here, yeah.
And so when it comes to US, you're fine. But if listeners, if you know about Europe or something, you're there and you know the prices, please share it with us, educate us. But on the tariffs, I think it's on hold. But Apple's, I think, more than likely just going to bite it.
I hope they do.
I hope so too, because I think it would just hurt him on sales wise. Lots of little news now diverging from iPhone would be AirPods have Apple Care now. So if you lose one, you can up to 2 times replacement for a minimum price of like...
Dude, working at a gym, there is so many of those just... And I think there was like one where they're just banning people from coming in with them because they keep on leaving them all the time and not picking them up. And so they just were tired of dealing with them just lying around everywhere.
I heard the subways in New York also, they're tired of having AirPods. But, I mean, I can see on the subway. At the gym, it's kind of like just laziness.
Yeah.
Because, whatever. But, I mean, $30, Apple Care Plus for your AirPods if you bought them in the last 60 days. And it covers 2 replacements or 2 accidental damages. So if you leave them in the...
That's a must. I think that's definitely a must.
For that one. And I was surprised Apple left it at 30, because I was like, I know Apple and their typical approach, and I'd be like, they're going to charge 50 for it. Mm-hmm. When I read the thumbnail, and I was like, wait, 30? Okay, that's nice. Yeah. And then going into Apple TV, apparently lots of people are complaining that Apple TV is still too expensive at $5 because it doesn't have much, which I agree doesn't have much.
It really, it doesn't.
But at the same time, it's $5. You rent a movie for $5.
If it stays at $5, like, that's a lot better than it. Like, if they keep it right now at $5 and then they up it later on, then that's, in my opinion, not good, because then you're just doing... Like, why not just go to the other competitors then? Because if it stays at that $5, you're getting that price, plus over time it will accumulate on the different people.
Yeah, that's the
different
thing.
Shows.
I think it just makes sense. Like, the thing is, at $5 a month, it's brand new, and they're not buying anybody's catalog. They're making their own, and so I think it makes sense. Keep it cheap, get people build, because they need to learn how to make content. Just because you get Steven Spielberg in there, maybe he'll give you his idea that he got at the bathroom, wrote in the toilet paper. But if it works and it clicks, then you build on top of that, and then you can charge more once you have people hooked with something that's good. And I can see them definitely within a year or 2, they're gonna go up to $10 if they gain traction. What else do we got? Apple Arcade, people, $5 for 6 people. Or 5 or 6.
Pointing that out though, like with Apple Arcade, Apple TV, I'm like, do you think they're actually spreading it too broad on themselves, that it causes those products not to be as good because they're spreading themselves out?
That's the thing.
I just thought about that. I'm like, that kind of makes sense, because I've seen other companies where they've done that, where they spread out a little too far, and then there's some of their products that they're trying to advertise are not as good because of that.
That's why I think that event, when did it happen? Where are we on? 14th?
No, dude, it's like the 12th, I think.
The 12th. Yeah, we're the 12th. When was the conference? 2 days ago.
Yeah, it was 09/11 yesterday.
Okay, oh yes. 5 seconds of silence. There we go. I could have just stared at the thing here and looked at the counter, but
I just looked into the light. I don't think that's good. All right, continue with your thought process.
I was just thinking with the keynote there, I'm expecting there to be an October one. Because of the Mac Pro being released and Catalina coming out of beta in October for Mac OS. But also, I think, like you said, Apple's being careful with not spreading themselves too thin. Because they didn't really announce anything new, like software-wise, that they did announce earlier in the year. They just announced new hardware.
So you're saying that they're spreading themselves out more, but they're doing it slowly to make sure that they don't do that.
Yeah, because today they could have released that Tile competitor yesterday.
Yeah.
But if you do that, then you have Apple Arcade, you have Apple TV Plus, you have the Apple Card on it itself, which is like a completely new thing for them. And then you add on top of that the Tile thing, and then they've released Apple News Plus at the beginning of this year too. So you have their 5 new services just thrown out there, and I think that's why they are waiting for the Tile to first get these ones done, get focused on Apple Arcade, Apple TV right now, the next month or so, and then add Tile or the Tile competitor once they've established, Apple Arcade is on its way and TV Plus also.
I feel like that's going to be the biggest hit, and it's going to put Apple into this whole gaming industry that they kind of had their toe in for a while.
Yeah.
And now they're just stepping fully into it and getting wet.
And Apple Arcade comes out on September 19th.
Which I'm really excited.
Yeah, me too. I was like, I was hoping that they would say like, and you can, but then again, I was just hoping, but I knew it wasn't going to happen because it doesn't make any sense. But I was like, if you're on the beta, you can test these games out before 19th, and I was like, yay.
Well, what I thought is that, okay, the new thing where you can actually connect your Xbox controller, which I don't know why it took this many years for this to actually be a thing, but now that you could do, I did the whole thing, and I was thinking, I'm going to be able to at least play some games that are already out there, and I realized very quickly that there is barely any out there where you can really utilize
exactly.
the
That's
controller.
what you're like, I want to do it, but you're like, wait a second. All these are like freemium pieces
Literally,
of crap.
like, I think Minecraft was like really the only one where it's worth doing it, and all the other ones are just kind of like,
yeah.
Because the other ones either don't support it that you would like to have, like certain racing games, and then the other ones that do have it that are racing games are kind of like the crap ones that no one really cares about.
And for me, it's like I can think of the Grand Theft Auto series or the Modern Combat, but I've played those already to the point that I'm like, I'm moved on. I'm like, okay, I'm done. I played them through touch or I played them on the consoles, so I'm like, done. And so there's nothing
You did kind of go on
new.
a binge there.
Like, there's nothing new there that you're like, I want to experience this from the beginning to the end with a controller on my mobile device. It's more of like, I've done that before on a controller. I want to try it here. And then you're like, it's not even here or it doesn't support it. So, yeah.
Oh, that's another thing, is that they should actually come out with their own product where they have an attachment thing to the phone and to the controller, or their own controller for it. They should totally do that.
That'd be good.
That would get them a lot of money as well. I'm just thinking. If you want money, easy money right there, release it with your arcade. Instant it comes out, a controller for it. And you're like, and it attaches right there and you have it. Or it does actually, I like the side ones.
Oh, yeah, like the Game Vice.
Yeah, that's really nice. It has a better experience because it feels more like, that's the reason why the Switch has it the way it does too, because it's just a better way of doing it with the screen.
Only my Switch, the side controllers, the clicker thing that holds them in place on the left one is like loosened to the point that if I apply enough pressure, I can literally just grab it and do this, and it'll come off without having to push the button.
That sucks. That's why you get the light version.
And I haven't even used it. That's the thing that like got me mad. I was like, I've only not even 100 hours on that dumb thing.
Apparently, when it just sits there and collects dust, it just starts breaking apart.
Exactly, like decomposes right in front of my eyes.
All right, we better go back.
But anyway, on the iPhone 11, apparently there's a leak right now. Apparently, someone that it's reliable, because Apple never shares this on their keynotes. But apparently, the iPhone 11, this is the numbers that I like. Apparently, the iPhone 11 will come with 4 gigabytes of RAM. And compared to the XR, which had 3, and 31 3110 milliamp battery instead of 2900. And then the iPhone 11 Pro, both Pros will come with 6 gigabytes of RAM, compared to the 12 and 10 gigabytes of RAM on the Note and Samsung phones. But anyway, at least we're getting a bump. I think these ones come with 4, so that'll be something. But and then the batteries are 3190 on the on the small Pro, and then the big Pro, the Max, is 3500 milliamps, which I think compared like the Samsungs, they have around 4000 if I remember right, 4200, which is getting closer there.
Yeah.
But that's interesting. I like the fact that they added 6 gigabytes of RAM, because that feature proves it even further. And I mean, these ones do pretty well with what they have. I just have to share this story. I don't know if you were able to read it, and I need to show it to you.
I didn't.
You see that woman, right?
Oh my
Once
gosh.
right after her
you
surgery.
Just see tits coming out.
So her face. The thing is, apparently, I just added it in the last moment because I laughed, because it says that she was enraged, and of course it's probably exaggerated, but she got mad because her phone, after her facial surgery, did not recognize her, so Face ID didn't recognize her face. And she got mad, and apparently...
Hey, third world problems here.
I just laughed. I literally showed it to my mom, and we both laughed at the fact that it's like she got mad at it. I was like, how do you expect the phone to realize it's still you if you've done modifications? She did, I think, a nose and something to her lips and cheeks. And so like you're literally changing the mathematical equation on your face. So the phone's going to be like, it doesn't match. Just put in your password, redo the thing in less than 30 seconds, and you're done. But no, she was mad, and she got on the Twitter.
She posted
apparently.
it and just started ranting online because
her phone didn't recognize her post-surgery facial.
She wasn't doing that just because she was actually mad. She wanted attention.
Yeah,
she's like, guys, I needed someone to look at this. You know, look at this. Look at, I did this.
I just got surgery.
Money. I gotta complain about it somehow.
And that's because if she were to say it.
Also, that tit job, like.
I think it's like.
Those are so fake.
Yeah, definitely. And she's like 47, I think it said there.
Oh, really? Just
but
why?
I thought, yeah, she's probably just, hey, this is funny, but if I add that I'm angry at it, it's going to be even funnier. Yeah, but I would have just said, yeah, I didn't recognize my face.
In 20 years, it's going to be all, like, it's just going to be saggy, nasty looking.
It's good marketing, I guess.
Oh my gosh.
But the thing we said about the chip, that's what I like this article by Brian Barrett by The Wired. He said the best iPhone news is the tiny new chip inside it.
The tiny little chip.
And it's referring to also ultra wideband location technology, which Apple didn't talk about it.
I don't even. Yeah, I was like, what?
If you go to the website, there's a small piece, a post on the iPhone, the new iPhone, and it actually talks about it. What it does, so you know, location based, it's used either Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. It'll like bounce off walls or detect Wi-Fi routers and kind of pinpoint where it's at. What ultra wide does, it just sends that signal at a more efficient, higher quality precision level, much higher. I think they read reports of around 10 times more accurate than Bluetooth or Wi-Fi.
Wow.
As to where you're at. And so the chip inside the phone, apparently, it's more future-proofing it as to, like with those Tile competitor products that Apple wants to give, that they'll talk through that wideband and they'll know exactly how far away it is. Not just saying it's around here. It'll actually tell you it's over behind that bag or something like that.
Yeah.
And so, and that is going to help with AR inside rooms or adding location-based AR when you put a tag on a certain location. It'll learn where that was posted at.
Dude, that can be... Yeah, cause that's the thing with AR right now is like it was a huge thing in the past, and I remember when it was big and people were talking about it, but it's just... It really never kicked up and was able to move forward because it was still had a bunch of limitations to it, and it wasn't always 100% stuff accurate and other things like that. But it's a cool concept, but it would be awesome if we could implement better products or software that involve that.
I agree. They'd say that this chip is so precise that apparently they told him after the event, like at the hands-on area, that you're going to be able to airdrop stuff to specific people. Like you could have you there, two people right next to each side of you, and you can, if you want to share photos through AirDrop, if you both have the iPhone 11, you can actually point it at the person you want it to send it to, and it'll tell you AirDrop to that specific person's iPhone.
No more accidentally sending the wrong dick pics to the wrong people.
Exactly. Or actually more precise forms of attack. I just picture it at like a concert or something, or an event, and you're sitting, you look at the bench, and you're looking at the person right, like to your right, down 2 steps, and you're like, okay, I want to target that person. There goes a dick pic.
You're just like in a conference, and you just got like the one woman in like the conference group. And then you're just like, dick pic.
Exactly, like
and she's like,
target. It's like literally that voice from Donkey Kong on the 64. That was like when the aiming reticule is like looking for you, and it says target located, and you're like, target located. Dick pic. iPhone 11. Okay. Contact everyone instead of just contacts. Okay.
And it just has a text under it. This is why I bought my phone.
How you like the iPhone 11 Pro triple lens? It helped me take this dick pic with multiple angles.
And guess what? They're the same size.
Oh man. Anyway, peeps, let us know what you think of the new iPhone 11 and the 11 Pro. I think it was good innovation. It's just small innovation in a sense, like micro nerd innovation. The Apple Watch,
they're gonna get it better.
Yeah, definitely. You can look it up all up about it. The Series 5 is really just the Series 4 1.5, all day, always on display. It is actually cool tech, like relevant compared to the chip in a sense, just screen related. But yeah, it's mostly for the nerds in a sense.
I wish they upped the the voice recognition for that when it comes to like different languages.
Apparently, iOS 13 does multiple languages with voice dictation without having to switch between languages.
Oh, because I remember like your wife has.
Yeah.
When she tries doing it, sometimes it has issues recognizing the
exactly.
right one.
And so I don't know if Siri still does it, but voice dictation does. I've tried it here. And it struggled, but that was public beta 2 on iOS 13.1. I just came out with a third, so I'll see it there, but I think it'll be good. People, just real quick, just want to just glance through all of these, because we're almost out of time here.
Yeah.
On the video game section, and then I just want to finish up with the Apple thingy. I think that was all Apple, though. I think we can finish there.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Because the Apple Watch there, they didn't announce the software. They didn't talk about it, but it makes sense. Comes out, so iOS 13.0, it's already on Goldmaster. It's finished. It comes out 19th with WatchOS 6, but iPadOS comes out September 30th together with 13.1 on iOS, and Catalina in October. And I think that was iPhones, Apple Watches, and the new iPad for students, like 330.
Oh yeah, that was a huge one. Like with
Yeah.
you're gonna have a lot more people going out for school.
And it comes with an iPhone 7 chip in it, the A10 Fusion. And it's $300 for student discount, so you get $30 off. And the new iPad Pro came down $200, the 1TB model. The other ones are still their normal price. And Apple Care for AirPods.
You did forget about the watch.
And then the watch, the full screen, and then the compass. All day on screen, same battery life, and a compass. And apparently you can call emergency. It'll detect if it have the cellular version. Depending on the country you're in, it supports 100 countries. You'll be able to just emergency dial the local emergency number.
So you have like a button for rape?
Yeah, something like that. To protect you from the sires. So if you notice, Nicole, when we were playing yesterday, it's like we were saying in Spanish, but she was up in the balcony. In Gears 5, we're talking about big Gears 5 people, horde mode. So we were 5 people, and my wife was on the balcony in the ice level. I forgot what it's called. And then we had a friend doing Jack, and he was supporting her. And then I was coming up there, and then I hit up there because I'm like, let's see how Jack works, because we need to learn more about him, how he gets more points and stuff. While I'm doing that, a sire comes behind my wife, and she'd never seen the sires. And if you don't know, they're ugly things. Like they're really ugly. Yeah. And they'll grab you and drag you away from your teammates and then rip your head off once you're far off enough, or you've had enough time with them. And so she gets grabbed by one, and then he says, "Be careful." And she's like, "It has me, this rapist, get him off of me." And then we both start yelling, "Rapist, rapist." And so we start stabbing him.
So during the entire time when I was just off by myself killing everything and you guys were just yelling Spanish words, I was just like, kill here, kill there, and you're like, rape. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, because the siren took her, she didn't know what it was. She's like, "What is that thing?" And we're
I
like,
shouldn't be screaming out rape like that. Oh, I guess I am a guy. No one's gonna come.
yeah. But yeah, it was funny, dudes. The one thing I wanted to transition into was Xbox Live was out the day that Gears came out. It was so sad. Or the day before. Oh no, the day after the official Gears early access.
Mm-hmm.
And then Twitch is coming out with their official Apple TV app, finally, because it's been years and they haven't had one. I guess Mixer's finally getting them to work for them, which, by the way, me as an affiliate, I've been getting transcodes every time I'm streaming, which usually was really rare. It was like once every week. Now it's like every time.
Oh.
So I think Mixer's definitely the ninja deal is making Twitch like wake up.
Also, all of those
allegations, yeah. And then apparently Gears 5 got reviewed, so Microsoft gave it to a site that is dedicated to reviewing accessibility in games. And Gears, I think, is one, if not the top highest scoring game for their website. Nice. Because it says that the subtitles for Gears, they include what you're seeing on the screen plus sound, because when you're fighting, there's music, and then once it ends, the typical traditional Gears, the guitar or something, drums, and then it ends. As soon as the battle, all the enemies are dead, the music stops. That it actually says in the subtitles for people that can't hear. It'll tell you music's over. And they say that is the first video game they've seen actually implement subtitles with that. Plus the button mapping, they say that not only the adaptive controller, but plus you can switch everything can be switched on the controller for people.
Yeah, that's
and they
really
say
nice.
That's huge for disability. Plus the LGBT flags, which apparently there's like 18 of them. I thought it was just one, the rainbow, but apparently there's 18. I was like, wow. They added I think it was 18, and I was like, whoa, okay. I didn't know there was so many.
Oh, there's a lot more than that. That's just like.
The ones that had an artist make a flag for him.
Yeah.
What was and so Gears 5, dude, just as a quick thought, what do you think? So far, how's it going?
Well, I know it definitely has
on PC side.
The PC side, it definitely feels good playing and everything else. There's a few things where it kind of has like a stutter, where you're moving around and you're about to like go shoot someone, and all of a sudden it like almost like freezes a little bit, and then it goes from that, and then it will update. And then but during that time you just die. Like you either missed your shot or whatever that you needed to do. Because it's always like when someone's down and I'm like having to go and kill them, and it stutters at that very moment, and then their teammate kills me and then gets them up. Like I've had that happen to me like 4 times now. But I have done research where it's like a setting that you need to like turn off in your graphics settings.
Dynamic resolution, I think, right? That you need to turn off.
It's a dynamic something.
Yeah.
There's a few. There's like a shadow one that's dynamic, and then there's another one. But I think it's the dynamic resolution or texture, or whatever it is. But the biggest thing is the connection issue. Like really on the PC side, the connection issue is a lot worse. I think, isn't that true? Because on your side, you don't experience too much.
I don't experience much at all. I mean, there were a ton, but not. It's kind of melted down now.
Yeah, and then when you were playing with me, it just seemed like it always happened.
Yeah. Only yesterday though was pretty smooth. At least I think
it's definitely improved. Like after the game, officially came out, it definitely improved. But during the time I was playing when it first came out, dude, it was it discouraged me from really wanting to play, because I would be like either midway or almost done with a match, and I'm winning, and then it just kicks me out. I just randomly boop, and you're out, and you're like, oh. Whoa.
Yeah, that was really. I saw lots of people have that, and then Gears Puff for me. Still, I can't log in through my Xbox Live. It's been 2 weeks now.
Yeah, but so on the PC side, it's good. Definitely could be better, but it definitely feels nice, and it looks great.
That's true. Look up Digital Foundry, people. There you'll learn all the trickery and stuff that's going on. That's pretty impressive with Gears. To finish off real quick, the games that we played, I'm still trying to beat God of War, Wolfenstein 2, and Shadow of the Colossus. Plus, I did play Alto's Odyssey on my phone, which was actually same. It wasn't much different than Adventure, Alto's Adventure, but the graphics are much better though, at least variety-wise. Of course, Gears 5, and after this, that's why I want to finish this so I can show you Elder Scrolls Legends, dude. We need to play it.
The one
I
on
started
your phone?
playing it again. Yeah, the card game.
Oh, the card game?
Yeah, dude.
Elder Scrolls card game.
Dude, you need to see it. It's awesome.
Is it on the phone?
Yeah.
I don't remember hearing anything about this. I just know the one where you go around and you swipe, and then you kill things with the sword.
Oh yeah, no, the Elder Scrolls Blades a piece of crap.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, I was
no,
like,
like-
Elder Scrolls something was it?
Yeah, Blades, no, people. Blades, at least, I mean, if you enjoy it, go at it. But for me, it was such a big disappointment lie that they said it's going to be a legit Elder Scrolls experience on mobile. Guess
Even-
what?
even with-
Microtransactions right off the bat.
Yeah,
And delayed.
It was. And even with cheats, it's still not fun.
Yeah, so Blades. But the card game itself, though, so far, I've played quite a bit of it, though. I've probably accumulated a month of it, and then I stopped completely for a whole year. Now that they've actually redesigned it, the graphics and all that. I don't know if it's pay to win, but I am playing with a deck
I
that I
think
bought.
most card games are pay to win. Like,
So yeah, they could be, but of course it depends on your skill level. So I don't know on the higher level skills if you reach a point where your cards are pay to win completely.
well,
Well,
if they compare you against other people that have similar, like, if every card has like a certain ranking to it.
Yeah,
So like if it's a bigger card that's going to do more or has more cost to it, it's going to have more points to that into your deck, and so it will judge that and say, okay, this person definitely has better cards.
yeah,
In
like the
general, then
ranking,
you-
the matchmaking would
Yeah.
make it like could
So
avoid
if
the
it-
pay to win.
If it has that, it can slightly avoid that, but there's still kind of still more pay to win, because even if the person it's like that, they could still buy more cards and have more of like cards together that work together than you would have.
Dude, I just thought about it. Even the physical game Yu-Gi-Oh was always pay to win.
Yeah,
Card games are pay to win.
they are pay to win. They're meant to be that way.
That's okay then. There is a legit like pay to win because it is pay to win. It was born as pay to win, and it is living as pay to win. Not like Blades where it was technically born not pay to win, and then it's like pay to win injected into it.
Well, it's not really because you're not really going against anybody, right?
But like you can actually.
Oh.
There's PvP stuff in
Oh,
there.
I didn't know that.
Like your town, and you can compare to others, and I think you can raid other towns too. And I'm like, I'm gonna get raid for this fetching $200 person while I'm doing nothing. I have to wait for my timers. My defense is down. His $5. Okay, my defense is up, like, and then I can't hit him. So I'm like, nah, stupid. But anyway, peeps, we'll look at that. Thank you for joining. Do you have anything else to say, Oren, before we leave?
Nope, I don't have anything.
Okay. Go ahead, buy yourselves an iPhone.
Like that.
And thank you all for coming. We'll talk to you all next time.
See you later.